Just did a 1,900-mile trip on full self-drive in a Tesla Model Y. Two different versions, a hardware 3 car and a hardware 4 car. Here we go. I went from Austin, Texas to Las Vegas, Nevada. That's trip number 1 in a hardware 4 2026 Tesla Model Y. For the second trip, I went from Vegas to the Bay Area, and I did that in a 2022 Tesla Model Y. I'm going to tell you everything what I did on that road trip, all the way from the mileage for supercharging, how many miles total I drove, how I slept and camped in the car. I'm going to give you all the details, both good, bad, and need some improvements on. So let's get into all these videos. Welcome back to Cyber City. This is Cyber Rob, and I just did a 1,900-mile trip from Austin, Texas to Las Vegas, Nevada, then Las Vegas, Nevada, to back to the Bay Area. So here, I have a lot of thoughts about this whole trip. Both the good, the bad, and maybe need some improvements. Because this wasn't a controlled test, this was a real world road trip. Drive-thrus, border patrol checkpoints, Mad Max at 85 miles an hour through West Texas, 8 or 9 charging stops on my first trip, then another 4 charging spots on my way back home from Las Vegas to the Bay Area. So let's get into it. Everything that happened, FSD crushed, FSD struggled with, and why the 1,900 miles is more than bullish for the technology than ever. So the trip starts in Elgin, Texas. It's a small town outside of Austin. And I'll be honest, I wasn't sure with all the unexpected back roads with the potholes and everything that's in Texas. Roads are not so great. But FSD surprised me right away, right out the gate. 14.3 was super smooth, like genuinely smooth. Smoother than I expected for the Texas roads. And I've driven on Texas roads and they are not exactly in pristine shape. There's lots of debris to avoid, trash in the middle, big chunks, blown out tires, just stuff you expect on a Texas highway, and FSD dodged every time without me touching the wheel. It even avoided potholes throughout the trip. I was shocked. I've been driving Teslas for years, and I don't think I've ever seen that before. So when you're going through West Texas, there is just a lot of open space. So from the junction to Ozana supercharging stations, Ozana to Fort Stockton, really all the way up to El Paso is just an open field. And that includes 80 miles an hour on the highway that can stretch. So I just did 85 miles an hour on Mad Max mode and just crushing it throughout the whole night. It is genuinely the best driving experience I've ever had in a car. It's hands-free. I'm watching the desert go by, catching up on some things that are in the car that I had to do. But here's something interesting, and I want to be honest about this because I always keep it real with you guys. FSD beeped at me a couple times for not paying attention. Now, I think that on my take on this is that it is a valid criticism on this, but in a wide open Texas highway at 80 miles an hour with nothing around for miles, should the car really be that aggressive about attention monitoring? I get it on the city streets. I get it in the traffic. But out there, out in the middle of nowhere, I think that's kind of going overboard. But that's just my own opinion. The other thing I noticed, and this blew me away, is when someone came behind me going way faster than I was on FSD, FSD actually moved over to the other lane and then moved back into the fast lane. That is sentient driving behavior, in my opinion. The car sensed something coming at the higher speed and got out of the way. That's just following rules. It's just being aware of the situation around you. Okay, now let me talk about the McDonald's drive-thru, because this is the part of the video where I have to be completely honest. FSD does not have a drive-thru mode, and it showed. I pulled up to the McDonald's, full FSD engaged, and the car did not even stop at the ordering speaker. It kept going. I had to overtake it a couple times in order for me to just take my order, then re-engage FSD. Then it did it again in the first window when paid. It did stop at that window, but then wanted to go a couple seconds later. But to my redeemed opinion of that specific scenario, it did go up to the ordering window. I did roll down my window. I did grab my food. I communicated with the employee there, grabbed my food, rolled up the window, and lo and behold, the car took off on its own after that. It was perfect timing, and it is learning, but it's still taking that last 1% in order for us to get that whole situation top notch, right? In my opinion, I think FSD needs a drop-down menu that says drive-through, and I think that would help the car be a little bit more aware of its situation.
Get all upset that I've been woken up.
You wake yourself up more, with your crumbling.
Yeah. Sometimes Beth moves her leg. Like, I'm the princess in the pea. If she, like, moves
Hi,
her
welcome to
leg
McDonald. Will you be using your mobile app today?
No, I will not.
I'm willing to put up with it because, she's hot. I want to sleep with her. Occasionally I get that sexy. So
You can justify that to yourself.
yeah, she wakes me up at 10.
What can I make for you today?
Can I get a number 6 with a Sprite medium?
This morning, and then I'm like half asleep. I'm carrying her out. I hold her like a baby.
Anything else?
Can I get an extra hash brown and that's it?
Is there everything correct on the screen?
Yes it is.
11.56 for thank you.
Thank you.
I can't let go of it. I can never let go of it. I can't just go, hey, the cab will be up, no big deal, go back to sleep. Then I'm like, I gotta do the show. Jack Antonoff's coming in. I should prepare.
Oh no, I can't get back to sleep. I've got to go to the bathroom now.
Yeah. Oh, don't ask. And I'm like, I don't know. And then yesterday I was running around trying to fit in guitar practice because I made a vow when I started playing 2 years ago. I would practice the guitar every day, no matter what, even if it was for 10 minutes. At some point in the day, I would pick up the guitar and practice.
Pull up to the window. Pull up to the window. Pull up to the window.
And
Has it been 2 years?
Stop. And stop.
2 years I've been playing, and you wouldn't know it from listening to me.
Yes.
Now, I didn't say that for that reason.
I said that to my teacher. I go, when does it all like kick in and you get really good? Like, when does that happen? You have to wait like 10 years? Because I don't know that I have 10 years. Like, it's time for it all to make sense. So hard. I think like
still
I
needs
could
some
be in a
work
band
on the
now
drive-thru.
If I was like the rhythm guitar player, I'm pretty adept. But my problem is I keep taking on more and more difficult
Pull up to the window.
tasks
Pull
with
up
the
to the
guitar.
window.
Like now I'm playing classical
Pull up to the
music.
window.
And
pull up to the window. Come on.
and even
Pull
the
up to the
teacher
window.
said to me, well, you know, Sunday should be your fun day.
Stop,
Just
stop,
play
stop,
for
stop,
fun."
stop,
And I'm
stop,
like,
right here.
It's never
Stop.
fun. It's not
There you go.
fun. I'm trying to get better at this. I don't have
Morning,
time
sir.
for
You ordered a
fun.
medium Sprite, sausage, egg, and cheese griddle.
This
Two
thing's
hash
got to
browns.
Yes, sir.
kick in.
All right.
Don't it?
And when it kicks
All right, let's see
in,
if-
what happens?
Here you go.
Thank you so much. You too.
I don't know. You know what? That's such a great.
Oh, it went. That time it went.
Even my psychiatrist said, "What do you think's going to happen? Let's say you're the best. Let's say you're better than Jimi Hendrix. What do you think's going to happen?"
Yes.
I go, "I don't know. Everyone will love me. I don't know. If I could play with."
This is what blew my mind. I'm approaching a Border Patrol checkpoint at this point. I am listening to Howard Stern on the radio. I have my license already pulled out. My window is already being rolled down. And I'm expecting the immigration Border Patrol agent to ask me questions. Usually it's, are you a U.S. citizen? You usually answer yes. I already have my driver's license out. So when I pulled up to the Border Patrol checkpoint, those questions were asked by the officer. I told him that I was a U.S. citizen and I had my license already sticking out the window. And then the car did stop perfectly. The officer told me to have a good day and sent me on my way. Once that happened, I had my arm back in the vehicle and I communicated with the officer to see if the car was going to leave. Right when I said that, the car actually went. It was absolutely nuts. And here's the video to prove it right here.
A half-hour speech, and then he leaves, and then the other guys come on, or maybe they just duke it out.
Good morning.
That's maybe
Yes,
an
sir.
hour ago.
Have a great day.
That's
You
a
too.
good Look.
Let's see if it goes by itself. Oh, it did! Yeah!
Speed for it was a 7-hour speed. Seems people.
It's crazy on how you saw that video, and then it just went. It still completely blows my mind on how sentient this car is being, and I'm super excited for what all the other use cases that are kind of like in this situation, how it will come up, right? So let's talk about the supercharging network, because I think this is the most underrated part of Tesla ownership, and I want to give it so much credit that it deserves. I did about 8 or 9 charging spots, I want to say, with 0 issues. Majority of those chargers were up. There might have been 1 or 2 out, but that's out of, 10 plus chargers. So there was a lot of chargers that were ready to go for it, right? I didn't have one issue. There were a couple chargers that were broken, but there was plenty enough charging to go around. There was no wait. I just pulled in. I plugged in. Sometimes I went to go grab some food or stretch my legs or go to the bathroom, whatever I needed to do in that average time of about 18 to 20 minutes. It just depended on how long I wanted to stay there. Majority of the time when you stop, it's usually about 15 to 18 minutes, but I always like to do a couple percentage points over on charging just in case. You just never know what could happen, right? Now, full transparency, there are some of these superchargers, especially in West Texas, that are out in the middle of nowhere. And it is definitely kind of scary in that point, especially if you're a woman in this situation, right? Sometimes there's no food, there's no gas station, there's nothing, right? But at least it's some sort of walking distance. But it's hard to judge because of the fact that if it's at night, it's kind of a little bit of a scary moment, right? So that's just my own opinion on what it could be, right? But it still blew my mind on how flawlessly it actually was just there for us, ready to go at a moment's notice to charge your car, stay there for an X amount of minutes, and then go, right? So my average supercharging, I will give the stats at the end of this to show you guys. But I think it was about 144 miles, $144 to $160 in total. I can't really remember. I will put a screenshot on the screen now so you guys can see. Here is the total amount of miles I did with these 2 trip planners that is on Tesla.com. I think if you do this road trip in a gas-powered vehicle, I think you're looking at anywhere between doubling what that is or maybe a little more for gas in this situation. In my opinion, I wouldn't even care if the charging and gas was at the same amount of money in order for me to do this road trip because of one factor. That is the full self-drive capability in this car that didn't have to make me be overstressed, over exhausting, hyper focused on the road because of the fact that I had to manually drive this car. This is why I think full self-drive in a long trip is definitely to its advantages for the human, I would say, mind in this perspective, and even body, because sometimes you get tensed up behind the wheel. So FSD definitely changes everything in that manner. I was on FSD, I would say about 95 to 98% of the time. Because of the fact I disengaged maybe a couple times. That's because of parking preferences and so on and so forth. So there wasn't anything of major disengagements in that. So just full transparency, I did start at 81% on full self-drive on my score. By the time that I ended in Las Vegas, it was at 97%. So for that 1,900 mile road trip that I just did, it jumped up 16 percentage points. Just because of the fact that I knew I was going to use this on that almost 100% basis, right? And it was awesome. I could not be more juiced about full self-drive and that capability, right? I've done that drive before in a regular car, and I'll tell you this, it's definitely exhausting. You have to be hyper-focused, as I said. Your eyes hurt, sometimes your backs hurt, sometimes you're even stressed about that. So this time I was bored sometimes, but there was other factors that I would do, just playing different types of music or listening to different podcasts, kind of educating myself in different perspectives that I wanted to learn because the car was driving. So I had other opportunities to kind of hyper focus on something else, such as those podcasts that I was listening to. And it was just awesome, right? So it's not just getting from point A to point B, right? You're actually getting back your time, your energy, your mental bandwidth. And now imagine when it's fully unsupervised, what it can be in the back seat, working, sleeping, recording content while the car just handles everything. That is just not science fiction. That's about 18 months away, in my opinion, okay? Bottom line, if you're on the fence about Tesla road trip, don't be, okay? Just do it. The FSD, the Supercharger network, the stress reduction, it's generally the best way to do a long drive in any situation across this country. Could FSD be better? Absolutely, but it gets better over time with software updates coming on a regular basis. So definitely needs, I think, a drive-through mode. Be less aggressive on the attention monitoring on open highways. And I can see the difference on the attention monitoring system being less kind of naggy at you, which is great. And just maybe a little bit more Supercharger amenities in remote areas. I don't know if that can happen, but I'm just giving my own thoughts, right? But where it is now for that 1,900-mile road trip that I did from Texas to Vegas and Vegas to the Bay Area, it was incredible, right? This is why I have my fleet of Teslas just waiting in the background for Robotaxi to come out, because I can see this technology getting better and better over time and better than humans, right? So I'm telling you, we are getting closer to fully autonomous driving than most people realize. Look at the videos that you're seeing now, and you can just tell that it's just getting better and better and better. Okay, guys? That's just giving you my opinion on what has transpired on this long road trip. I genuinely thank you guys for tuning in to all this. Please leave a comment and tell me what your thoughts are on full self-drive. If you've done it, have you done a long road trip on full self-drive? If so, tell me about it in the comments, and I can't wait to read it and give you guys more episodes like this. Thank you guys so much.